Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something absolutely mind-blowing. The idea that your gut is basically a second brain. We're not just talking about digestion here. We're talking about a hidden, super complex conversation that's happening inside you right now, and it's shaping your mood, your thoughts, and your health. You know that phrase, "I've got a gut feeling about this"? We all say it. But what if it's more than just an expression? What if those feelings are actually, a real physical thing? That's the huge question we're tackling today. So, what do scientists call this connection? It's the gut brain axis. Now, the most important word here is bidirectional. This isn't a one way street, it's a two-way superhighway. Sure, your brain sends messages down to your gut, that feeling of butterflies in your stomach before a big meeting. But what's truly wild is that your gut is sending just as many, if not more, messages right back up to your brain. So, how on earth does this actually work? I mean, how do two parts of your body that seem so far apart talk to each other so constantly? Well, it turns out they have a few dedicated communication lines set up. Think of it like this. There are three main ways they communicate. First, you've got the neural wires, a direct, physical, high-speed connection. Then there's what I like to call the hormonal mail service, where chemical messages float through your bloodstream. And finally, you have immune messengers, which means your body's own defense system is a massive player in this whole conversation. Okay, let's zoom in on these channels. The neural path, that's pretty much all about the vagus nerve. It's this massive nerve, like a data cable, running all the way from your brainstem down to your gut. The endocrine path uses hormones like ghrelin, the hunger hormone, to literally tell your brain, hey, it's time to eat. And the immune pathway, it uses these tiny molecules called cytokines that can dial brain inflammation up or down. Okay, so we've got the big picture, the superhighway concept, but let's get really specific. Let's zoom right in on a single crucial moment, a molecular handshake that proved this whole thing was for real. And this brings us to a chemical you've probably heard of, serotonin. Most of us know it as the happiness hormone that's so important for our mood. But here's the thing, it's also a major player in the immune system. So way back in 1998, a group of scientists saw this connection and asked a really brilliant question. The question was pretty simple, but totally profound. Could a message from the immune system, like a signal for inflammation, directly reach out and change how the serotonin machinery in our nervous system works? It was time to put it to the test. And what they found was just, wow. They took two different immune signals. The first one, TNF-alpha, made the serotonin system go into overdrive. It literally doubled its activity. But when they tried the second signal, nothing happened. It had zero effect. And that specificity, that was huge. This was it, the proof, the smoking gun. For the very first time, scientists had hard, molecular evidence that a specific signal from the immune system could directly mess with our brain's mood controls. The gut-brain axis wasn't just a cool idea anymore, you could actually measure it. So that's the system when it's all working perfectly. But what happens when the lines get crossed or the signal gets lost in the noise? Well, to understand that, we need to talk about the trillions of tiny residents living in your gut. The scientific name for this is dysbiosis. And basically, it's just a fancy word for when the community of good and bad bacteria living in your gut gets all out of whack. And when that happens, it can throw a serious wrench into that communication system with your brain. And believe me, the fallout from this can be huge. Just look at depression. Study after study shows that people with depression often have a very different gut microbiome. They tend to have way fewer good guys, like lactobacillus, and way more bacteria that actually cause inflammation. This can cause something called leaky gut, where these inflammatory molecules can sneak out and travel all the way up to the brain. But to really grasp why this matters so much for our mood, there's one chemical we have to talk about. And it all boils down to this one unbelievable number. Yeah, 90%. Let that sink in. The vast majority, 90%, of your body's serotonin isn't made in your brain. It's made in your gut. So if your gut is unhealthy, it can directly kneecap the production of a chemical that is absolutely essential for your mental well-being. And it's not just depression. Scientists are now seeing these clear, distinct patterns of gut trouble in other massive brain disorders too. In Parkinson's disease, they see a drop in bacteria that produce anti-inflammatory stuff. In Alzheimer's, they see a rise in pro-inflammatory bacteria, which might actually contribute to that nasty plaque buildup in the brain. Okay, I know that all sounds pretty heavy, but here's the amazing, hopeful flip side to all of this. If a problem in the gut can lead to a problem in the brain, well, that means we might have a brand new playbook for treating the brain by starting with the gut. And this is opening up a whole new world of therapies. You've got probiotics, which are like sending in reinforcements of good bacteria. You've got dietary changes like eating more fiber to feed the good guys you already have. And then there are really advanced therapies like fecal microbiota transplantation, or FMT, which is basically like a total system reset for your gut's ecosystem. But no matter which approach, the core idea is exactly the same. Let's fix the broken communication line. The goal is to calm down the inflammation, restore a healthy and diverse community in the gut, and help it get back to making all those vital brain chemicals, like serotonin, that we depend on. So we come back to where we started, but now everything looks a little different, right? This idea of a second brain is changing everything. It suggests that for some of our toughest, most challenging brain disorders, the path to healing might not start in the head at all, but in a place none of us ever expected, deep in our gut.